Well, good morning and welcome to Move Early, Move Often. I am Blake Martin. It is Twisted Tuesday, and looking at the shoulder girdle, just considering this part of our body that kind of ends up a little bit like this and a little bit like this by the end of the day. And I want to take a little bit of care with it right now. Shoulder girdle, that's the scapula and the clavicles. They when it's dysfunctional, it's implicated in about 50% of shoulder injuries and shoulder dysfunctions. So you want to take care of the shoulder girdle because it really helps take care of the whole shoulder area. And because it gets really tight, I wanted to focus on a couple of activities that move it towards some greater mobility. This is going to be a sensing a day where you're going to spend some time sensing and listening to your body. I'm going to lead you into these activities, and they're going to improve the mobility, but you have to listen for when your body is in places where your body's stuck. I'm going to start us off with just a little bit of a warm up, nothing really elaborate or big, because most of the activity and the thing I want to get at is in the actual movements themselves. You can do this at the beginning of your day, just to kind of say, okay, this is a place that I'm trying to stay at. And you can do it at the end of your day, just to get back to a place that you were at before. So let's get underway. I've got my mat here set up, and I'm just going to kneel while I'm doing these warm-up activities. You can stand if you wish. I just don't want to be out of the shot. I've just framed things so that I can be in the shot. So we're going to start just by doing shrug circles backwards. And try to keep your spine neutral. When I do shrug circles, a lot of times I stick my head forward. I get my back all weird. So just try to keep your spine neutral, your chin down, and go explore the full range. And press down through the bottom. Actually press down in opposite direction. Not too elaborate. Try to keep your spine neutral. And explore the full range, pressing across the bottom. Okay, just shake that out a bit. And we're going to do just small arm circles, not really big. It's morning, maybe it's not morning where you're doing this. And increasingly bigger, trying to explore the back range. And these aren't swings, they're circles with control. Really explore now, as wide as you can, as far back, as far to the side, as far high as you can. Now we're just going to take one arm. We'll just I'm going to start with my right. I'm going to do a very slow, deliberate circle. Palm facing forward. And up around the top, it kind of might get stuck. Has to go to the side a little bit more. I actually am leaning over to accommodate that, and I'm doing this very slow and controlled. I'm maintaining the palm facing forward. Now I'm going in the opposite direction. Very slow, deliberate circle. I'm just increasing, and we're going to do the same thing on the opposite hand. I'm just increasing the blood flow to that joint. Well, there's several joints here that we're actually working with: the acromioclavicular, the glenohumeral, the sternoclavicular. All right. So that's kind of what we're going to do to start warm up. We're going to, next exercise is, activity is, I'm going to show you sideways first, and then I'll show you head on so you can see what we're going to do. We're going to do, there's an activity called a wall slide where you move your arms up high, and then you bring them down low. Okay? And we're going to do it on the floor. Now, normally people say, they just say, if you just look for a second, they say to put your feet on the ground. Now you can completely do this on the wall, right? On the floor, it allows you to open up your chest more, and it allows stretching of the anterior muscles. The problem is though that when you with your feet on the floor like this, you're not engaging your core. And one of the important things that we're trying to get at is this idea that your core is engaged so that your torso can be isolated from your limbs. There's this dude named Jack Hanrahan, and you can look him up. Ladies and men who like people who are easy on the eyes, he's easy on the eyes. So you can look up. He's nice to look at. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our arms in a cactus position here in our dead bug. And if you just watch for a second, I'm going to raise my hands over my head, and I'm trying to keep my elbows on the floor as I raise my hands over my head. Now, my elbows come off the floor, and then I bring them back down, and then I'm going to slide all the way down. Now, if I keep sliding down, you can notice that I start arching my low back, and I want to avoid that. I want to keep my low back neutral. Let me show you from this position. I think you can see what I'm doing here. And what I want you to note is I want you to notice what happens to my elbows and my forearms. My elbow, see my left elbow coming off the ground there? So your objective is to keep your elbows and your forearms off the ground. So let's do this together. On your back, dead bug position, so that your knees, your hips are at 90, your knees are at 90. And cactus your arms. And now you're going to slide your hands along the floor above your head. Try to keep your elbows on the floor. If your elbows lift, pause there and let them fall open, because it means that you're holding in through your chest. And bring your elbows back down to 90. Bonus dead bug. And now try to keep your hands and forearms on the floor as you bring your elbows down closer to your sides. Don't arch your low back. Again, going up. Now you may feel that your mid-back, your thoracic spine, that you kind of arch up in the thoracic spine as well. Sliding upward, continue. If you're holding, let it go, let it flow. Come on, Elsa, you can do it. And then coming back down, and pause with your legs. Just bring your legs down for a second. Move your knees from side to side just to give your hip flexors a little rest. We're going to do another round of this. 2 up, 2 down. Going above your head, allowing your chest to fall open. Any place where your elbows are coming off the ground, just pause and breathe and let that open and continue. Come back down to 90. And elbows down now, closer to your sides, sliding them inferiorly along the floor, trying to allow your back to be flat, as flat on the floor as it can be, and your arms to be on the floor. Back to 90, above the head. I really have to concentrate to let go. There's certain places where I can really feel my chest gripping. And then back down, elbows back down. Try not to arch your back. And back to 90. And feet down. Windshield wiper your knees. All right. So that activity is quite remarkable in terms of showing you places where you're held. This next activity is called the clock. It's developed by Dr. Donna Krasnow for a conditioning methodology called conditioning with imagery. Bring your knees to 90 on your side. Your palms are matched together. And you're going to reach your fingers away from your palm, the top fingers, and then you're going to draw a large clock face on the floor. At a certain point, your arm may come off the ground like mine does, and try to relax into that. And try to allow that to be open. You're trying to keep your knees on the floor in front of you, and bring the arm all the way around the bottom, forward, and past your fingers again. We're going to go 2 rotations. Notice when your arm comes off the floor. It's right about here for me. And coming off the floor there indicates that I probably have a very tight pec minor. And I'm just going to hang out here for a second or two. And I'm going to explore that. This isn't part of something that Donna teaches. She just teaches the movement. And then I'm going to continue past and to the front. And this time I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Reaching down past my hips, behind, allowing my fingers to drag on the floor. And it's different in this direction because of the way my muscles are organized. I'm still coming off the floor here where my pec minor is tight, but I have a little better range. Some of you may find that your fingers drag on the floor for the whole distance. And we'll do one more round here with this first arm. And being aware, just breathing naturally. I'm going to hang out here for a second again where I'm stuck, where my arm isn't touching the floor. I'm just going to explore this a little bit. I'm just moving my arm gently back and forth. I can feel it in my pec minor. I can feel it in my pectoral major as well. And I'm going to continue around. 2 rounds. Let's flip to the other side. I'm going to turn my body around. You can just turn to the other side of your body. Matching our knees together. 90 degrees at our hips, 90 degrees at our knees. Align my fingers on top of my hand and reach my hand forward and make a circle above my head. And note where your arm comes off the floor if it does. Following with your eyes. Sweeping down, around. And a second big circle. This time when we get there, let's explore. If there's a place where your arm is off the floor or feels particularly tight, just take a moment. Breathe into that. See if you can get your arm to go down. And continue around. All the way around. To the bottom. Match hands. Come back the other way. Down. Past your knees. Your hips. Along the floor if you can. And then when your arm lifts, just be aware of that place. Continue around. On the second round, we'll just pause in a place where it feels particularly tight and explore that. Breathe into it. And continue around till your arms match. Right. Two very simple movements. A floor slide with a dead bug. The dead bug engages your core so that your limbs are moving independently of your torso, which is really important for our overall stability and strength and shoulder mobility. And then we did the clock exercise. These two exercises are really awesome for opening up the whole anterior portion here. We spend so much time doing this, and we need to get to a place where we can have a nice, naturally open chest. Um, you've moved early, and I hope that you're a little more open. Your heart is opened with that as well, and that you remember to move often throughout your day. Have a really good one, and we'll see you tomorrow for Wobbly Wednesday.